Africa Twin 1100 Adventure Sport, DCT automatic transmission, ES electronic suspension, registered November 2019, got the extended manufacturer's warranty on it until November 2022. Bike's in beautiful condition, very shiny, no marks, no scratches, no chips. Lovely gold wheels with the spokes on the outer rim, so we can wear the tubeless tyres. Tyres are Scorpion Trail 2s, quite recent, so lots and lots of tread left there on the front and the rear. Bike's never been off-road, never been dropped, so even when you get into the nooks and the crannies, all very clean, very nice, just like you'd want. The screen is adjustable, so that's in its lowest position. To be honest, that's where I leave it all of the time. I'm 6 foot, it fits me perfectly there. The seat is adjustable. This is in the upper position, which from memory is 870 millimeters. It will go down 20 millimeters if you want it to. Petrol tank is fantastic. It gives you a range, I can't remember the capacity, but it gives you a real life range of over 300 miles. Something you take for granted till you get on a bike where as soon as you go more than 100 miles away from home, you know you've got to stop for a fill-up. Comes as standard with Honda's heated grips. Comes with cruise control, which is very, very nice because it stays switched on automatically. So when you switch the ignition on, you don't have to re-engage. The cruise control would already be switched on, ready to be activated just at the click of resume or the set button. Has electronic ignition, so that you only have to push the button once and you can leave it to start itself. I rode a Ducati V4S Multistrada last week and was very surprised that when you push the start button, you have to hold it until the engine fired. Many years since I had a bike where you had to hold the start button down that didn't have electronic ignition. Although to be fair, this is my 6th Africa Twin, so it's many years since I've had a bike that isn't an Africa Twin. The DCT is fantastic. I had 2 manual Africa Twins, but as soon as I had an automatic one, I was never going to have anything else other than an automatic one. Absolutely brilliant. The same way I don't really buy automatic manual cars anymore, only automatic. One of the nice things on this bike is the electronic suspension. You can buy the cheaper ones with manual suspension. This one's got electronic, which is super good, and just at the touch of a button you can flick through the different rider modes. You can also do it because it's a touch screen. I tend not to use the touch screen, I tend to use the left hand controls, and really, even though there's many options and you can configure it in an infinite number of ways, actually all I find myself doing now the bike is configured is scrolling up and down through the user modes. And if I'm in the country lanes just mooching around, I'll have it in the off-road, which gives me the softest of the suspension settings, the O. You'll see on the damping, if I push the selection up one, it goes into user mode. This gives a soft suspension setting, so just a little bit firmer than the off-road setting. I also always run with minimum engine braking, so that's number 3, the engine braking setup. That's engine braking intervention. I have the most intervention, so that gives the least engine braking. I have power mode on 1, which is at full power, and I tend to run with traction control just on level 1. which is the least intervention. Always run with the G mode off. You would put the G mode on if you wanted to go off-road. It makes the gear changes more direct, but it actually cancels out one of the main benefits of the automatic gearbox, and that's how smoothly it changes gear. And not only changes gear, but every time you throttle off or throttle on, the computer slightly feathers the clutch. So when you throttle off, there's no harsh lurch forward, and when you throttle on, there's no harsh lurch backwards. The computer feathers the clutch and makes it super smooth. So when you're riding, it just makes it more relaxing. It uses less effort, especially with the engine braking in the least engine braking mode. It just makes the bike very easy just to roll along. You have one more click up, user mode 2. I have that set to the medium damping. The preload is also configurable with these modes, so if you wanted to, you could have user mode 2 set with a higher rear preload, in which case the rear spring would jack up when you changed, and that would make the bike turn a little more easily if you wanted to ride with the sports bikes. And if I go one more click up, I go into the touring mode, which is the hardest of the suspension damping settings. Everything else stays the same. You can also adjust the preload for rider and pillion, rider and luggage, rider, pillion and luggage. The wheelie control, I always have it in the lowest intervention, and the same with the torque control, I have it in the lowest intervention. ABS rear, you can have the rear ABS disabled if you want to for off-road riding. As I say, the bike's never been off-road. And in the display below, you'll also see the speed, gear selector position, and total miles. So if you are going to plug in your phone, and your phone plugs in here, so this grommet comes off, and in there's a USB, and you can put the grommet back in place, the cable can route underneath, and your phone can then communicate with the dashboard. It supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so even if you have that display on the main LED, then you still have this LCD which gives you speed, cruise control position. I've just switched on the cruise control there, etc, etc. So very versatile, fantastic bike. It's done 7,000 miles. It comes with the Honda Adventure top box, complete with the backrest when you're carrying a pillion. Really great bike. I'll be sorry to see it go. Enjoy.